Even though BMW's strategy is called the power of choice, which means they want to put all different kinds of drivetrains into the same model, they now designed a car on an electric-only platform. And this is it. Hello there, monsters and men, ladies and people. This is the BMW iX and welcome to Recharging. Yes, BMW designed a big SUV to compete with, for example, the Tesla Model X and the Audi e-tron. Are these more than 2,500 kilos? Yes, you heard me right, more than 2,500 kilo beasts really necessary? Well, from a rational point of view, of course not. I am currently driving the xDrive 50, and what does not help with that 2,500 kilos is that this car has a whopping 110 kilowatt hours battery pack. 105 kilowatt hours of that is usable capacity. But that is a lot. I mean, it gives this car a WLTP range of more than 600 kilometers. Also, this car has enough power to bring that more than 2,500 kilos from 0 to 100 in less than 5 seconds. And if that is not enough for you, you can also choose the M60, which is even heavier, but has enough power to bring you from 0 to 100 in under 4 seconds. It is absolutely crazy. You can also be more sensible and choose the xDrive 40. That one has a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, weighs around 2,400 kilos, has a WLTP range of 416 kilometers, and does 0 to 100 in around 6 seconds. And oh yeah, all cars are limited to 200 kilometers an hour. When I show this car to other people, I get two different kinds of reactions about the front. People either find it ugly or they find it really ugly. The problem with modern BMWs, in my opinion, are these giant BMW kidneys. They are too big. They are too big on this car, they are too big on the i4, and they are too big on the i7. I think if they make them smaller, then the front of this car is not that bad looking. Just these giant nose holes or beaver teeth are ruining it. What is not ruining it is this color. I think this color is really nice and makes this car really chic. What helps with the chic look of this particular car is that this car has the titanium bronze trim. That means you get a bronze look here around the mirror, a bronze strip over the whole side and a bronze accent here around the door handle. In combination with this color, I think it looks really well. Also, this car does have frameless windows, again very chic, and unlike many new cars, or basically all new cars, this car does not have pop-out door handles, as you can see. Yes, I do like the looks of the rear of this car more than the front. I do think the rear of this car is a bit lumpy, but it is simple, it is clean, there's not too much going on, and yet it is futuristic looking. Again, I quite like it. And, well, for a change, I almost forgot it, for a change there is no rear light that goes over the whole rear. As you have already seen, the BMW iX is quite a big car, but the boot is not that big. Well, I say not that big. If I open it up, you still have 500 liters of boot space, which, well, is very handy and very usable. But a competitor like the Audi e-tron, for example, has 660 liters of boot space. Quite a bit more. Under the boot floor, there is quite a lot of space to store, for example, 2 charge cables or some other stuff. And this car does have a unique boot cover that I have never seen before. It consists of 2 parts, and one part goes up with the tailgate up here and another part is fixed here in the boot. Again, never seen it before. If you fold down the rear seats, you get a boot space of 1750 liters, which is equal to that Audi e-tron. You can fold down the rear seats by 2 buttons here in the boot. Very premium. Now let me show you some other details about the exterior of the BMW iX. What you are looking at right now is quite a small part of the car, but there is quite a lot to tell about it. Let's start with the grille. First of all, the titanium bronze trim is also visible here in the grille. Again, it looks really good. Second, an electric car does not need as much cooling as an internal combustion engine car, and therefore the grille is used for other things, like hiding your sensors. Behind the grille here are sensors for your adaptive cruise control, your front collision warning, etc. And also that part of the grille is heated, so when it is snowing, those features will keep working. When you are a stereotyped BMW driver, I am sorry BMW drivers, you will be tailgating, and when you are tailgating you get stone chips on your grille. That doesn't matter for this BMW iX because this grille is made from a self-healing material. That means when exposed to heat, for example the sun, the material will heal itself and those stone chips or maybe other scratches will not be visible anymore. Then the front camera and the rear camera are washed, and what happens when you are out of washer fluid? Well, you just open the bonnet, right, and fill up your washer fluid. Not in this car. You and me cannot open the bonnet of this car. That also means there's no frunk, which is a downside. How do you fill up your washer fluid then? Well, it is here under the BMW logo. Just like in the BMW i3 and i8, carbon is being used to strengthen the body and to lose weight. And also to look cool. I think it looks really cool. So keep in mind that without this material, this car would be even heavier than it already is. What can I tell you about the driving of a 2500 kilo SUV that will cost you, at least this particular car, 130,000 euros? Yes, you heard me right, this car costs 130,000 euros. It is absolutely perfect. The xDrive 50 that I'm driving right now and the M60 also get adaptive dampers and air suspension as standard, and this car absolutely glides over the road, and it is also really quiet in here. I mean, I have been to Germany and it doesn't matter if you drive 120 kilometers an hour or 170 kilometers an hour. This car feels the same. The only difference is a tiny bit more wind noise, and that is it. And it is also mind-blowing how fast this car accelerates. Accelerating to the top speed, 200 kilometers an hour, no problem. I mean, it is from another world. Is this a real BMW to drive then? I mean, is this car dynamic? Of course not. Yes, you can take a high-speed corner with a lot of speed, but you can feel the weight. I mean, come on, it is still 2500 kilos and almost 5 meters long. And in general, those cars are not really dynamic. But this is the most comfortable car that I have driven so far in my life. And you can really eat the kilometers away in this car. Again, it is an absolute pleasure to drive. But what do you expect for 130,000 euros, right? Also, the xDrive 50 and the M60 get four-wheel steering as standard. That means you have a tinier turning circle. It is still pretty big, but it is tinier than without. And also, it gives you more stability on the highway. I hear you thinking, you are driving a boat on wheels. The consumption is probably terrible. Well, I have to admit that for the amount of car that you are bringing along, it is not that bad. Again, I have been to Germany, and from my home to Germany it is around 230 kilometers. I drove there before 7 in the evening. That means the speed limit here in the Netherlands is 100 kilometers an hour. And it was 13 to 14 degrees Celsius with sun and there was barely any wind. And depending on the traffic, yes, I drove a bit slower or a bit faster than 100 kilometers an hour. And I got a consumption that equals to a range of more than 500 kilometers. The WLTP range of this car, again, is 630 kilometers. So then getting a range of more than 500 kilometers while driving faster than 100 kilometers an hour, I don't think that is a bad number. When I drove home, it was after 7. That means the speed limit is 130 kilometers an hour. Sometimes I drove a bit faster. Please don't tell anyone. And then I got a consumption that equals to a range of around 375 to 400 kilometers. And again, I don't think that is a bad number. For the amount of car that you are bringing along, this car is pretty efficient. It is not as efficient as a Tesla Model X, but it is more efficient than a Audi e-tron, for example. So how can you regen energy with the BMW iX? Well, you do have 3 regen levels, level 1, 2 and 3. And you have an adaptive mode that will determine the amount of regeneration based on what is driving in front of you. Unfortunately, there is no one pedal drive mode. That means you always have to use your brake pedal to come to a complete stop. And also for the regeneration, there is no physical button where you can set your regeneration with. Not on the steering wheel, no flippers, no, you have to fiddle around and search for the setting in the iDrive system. Another thing about the electric driving capabilities of this car, when you put in a destination in your iDrive navigation and that destination exceeds your range, the car does not plan charging stops. So how long does it take to fill up a 105 kilowatt hour battery pack from 10 to 80%? Well, if you are at a 50 kilowatt charger like I am right now, yeah, then it will take 1.5 hours. But this car can take a maximum of 200 kilowatts and then charging it will take around 35 minutes. The smaller battery pack can charge with a maximum of 150 kilowatts and that will also take around 35 minutes. A good thing is though, is that when you set a fast charger as a destination in your navigation software, the car will preheat the battery to give you the best charging speed. Also, the BMW iX has a 11 kilowatt onboard charger as standard, and then charging the car from 0 to 100% with the bigger battery pack will take around 11 hours, and for the smaller battery pack around 7 hours. As soon as you get into the interior, you forget the looks of the exterior. It is absolutely beautiful in here. I have to say though that this is a press car, which means the car is fully loaded, which also means that this particular car will cost you 130,000 euros. Yeah, that is a lot of money. But again, very beautiful car interior, no complaints. Well, one complaint, the glove box is really tiny. But besides that, again, most beautiful car interior that I have sat in so far. Being a fully loaded press car also means that this car has the crystal option. At least that is the name that I give it. Officially it's probably another name, but it means that you have this very nice crystal knob here for your iDrive system and for your volume. And they are on top of a wooden panel, which also looks really nice. Crystal knob here for your drive control and for your seat adjustment. My wife hates it because she finds it too much. I absolutely love it. And also here in the interior you can see the titanium bronze accents, and that in combination with this red-brown interior, again, I love it. But I have to say though that this interior is not an interior we are used to from BMW. Maybe BMW thought, hey, we are making a modern EV, so things have to be different than before. Because, well, a lot of car makers seems to think that. But gone are your physical climate control buttons. Gone is your round steering wheel. It is now a hexagon. Okay, that last thing doesn't bother me, but hey, it is different. The centerpiece of this interior are these two screens here on the dashboard with BMW's latest iDrive system. And I have to say, the graphics, really beautiful. The responsiveness, really good. But the user-friendliness can be improved. Here on the home screen, you do have widgets and they work well. Here on the side, you do have shortcut buttons. Really good. But as soon as you need a feature or a setting that is not on the home screen or you cannot easily go to with the shortcut buttons, you have to open the menu. And then, holy crap, who thought this was a good idea? There are so many apps, it is not clear what feature or setting is in what app. I mean, it happens to me that I open 2 or 3 apps before I find what I was looking for. What also doesn't help is that it imports app from your phone. So there are even more apps here in this list. Oh, there goes the volume. There it goes. You can filter by apps only available for the car, but still there are a lot. And I hope BMW will improve on this because again, it is not the most user-friendly system in the world. You can control the system by touch, as I am doing right now, or you can control it with this iDrive knob down here, for example, while driving. Around the iDrive knob there are some touch haptic shortcut buttons, but because they are touch-based, especially in the beginning, you still have to look where those buttons are in order to press it. So, does it improve safety while driving? I'm not sure. What I am sure about though is that a lot of these things will trickle down to cheaper BMW models. Enough about the infotainment system, let's talk about some other tech here in the BMW, because this BMW is loaded with tech. And what I am going to talk about is not everything, but are the things that stood out for me. Keep in mind this is a fully loaded press model of 135 euros, and this car has an option of 5,600 euros, the Bauer and Wilkinson audio system. That is an audio system that will give you 30 speakers. 30 speakers. The sound quality is excellent. There is a wasp here coming into the car. Why are you doing this to me? The wasp is gone, so the area is safe. So again, 30 speakers and the audio quality is excellent. But you also get something called 4D audio. That means you get so-called shakers in your seat. Those shakers will vibrate with the bass, so you can feel the bass better and you can experience the music more. I mean, what the? Also, some cars do play a fake engine sound through the speakers while driving. This car can do that too, only in this car those sounds are composed by Hans freaking Zimmer. I mean, that is next level. And yes, this car can blow hot air to keep you nice and cozy when it is cold outside, but it doesn't want to do that, no. It wants to use your heated seat, your heated steering wheel, but not only that, your armrest is heated, your armrest here in the door is heated, and if that is not enough, this car does have infrared panels here in the door and here at the footwells to give you a warm feeling. I mean, infrared, again, that is next level, and that is something that will trickle down to cheaper EVs because, well, it is more efficient. Crazy car this, crazy car. Let's have a quick look at the rear seats. The seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters and I have loads of room for my knees, loads of room for my feet, loads of room for my head. The floor is flat, the car is wide, there's almost no center console. Sitting here with 3 people, no problemo. And also the seats are nice and comfy. Quality, really good. Center armrest here with 2 cup holders, separate climate control, 2 USB-C ports here in this seat and also in that seat. Yeah, you can sit here in the back of this car to the south of Europe from here in the Netherlands. Yeah, that's quite far. No problem. And also there is a really nice panoramic roof, but not a normal one. Not one with a physical cover. No, this one works with electricity. The driver just has to press a button up there and then this panoramic roof gets all cloudy. Really premium, fancy. I have to tell you something. The cheapest, or sorry, least expensive BMW iX starts from, I think, around 75,000 euros. In that 75,000 euros are not included all driving and safety features. This BMW xDrive 50 will cost you, I think, at least 95,000 euros. In that 95,000 euros are not included all driving and safety features. I mean, really? You have to pay extra for adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist. German car makers, why do you do this? Shame, shame BMW. I have to admit though, is that when you do have all those self-driving features, they work really well. I think they work the best from all cars that I have experienced so far. I mean, normally I hate the automatic lane changing assist. So that means that the car can automatically switch lane for you. But in this car, it works really well. I actually used it. I have to admit though, I used it on a rather empty highway in the evening, but again, it worked really well. The same thing applies though with the distance of the adaptive cruise control as with the regen of the regeneration setting, is that there's no physical button for it on the steering wheel, even though there is plenty of space on the steering wheel. No, to set the distance for the adaptive cruise control, again, you have to fiddle around in the iDrive system. I mean, why? Ugh. So what is my final verdict of the BMW iX? Well, I don't want to like it, because from a rational point of view, who in the world would ever really need this? And it is not perfect. The user interface can be improved and the exterior, well, enough said about that. But then you get in and you start driving it. And then you can forgive all those things. What a machine. And if money wasn't an issue, I would be very tempted to order one. And that was the review of the BMW iX. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give a like. If you have something to say, leave a comment, and it would be awesome if you subscribed. And then I would like to say now, thank you a lot for watching, and as always, to be continued.